The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Bay Shard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. And I think we should start off today by saying, and kind of giving us some history in the works. I don't know that there's needs over at your place, but there's certainly a lot of history that we all need to know and share. And I'm saying this to someone that you don't even know is here. Sorry, folks. We've got Deidre Teagarden, who's the executive director of the Nissan Veterans Memorial Center,
yes,
with us. Hi.
Hello. Well, it's always wonderful to be on the show, and I think I've been here in various capacities over the years, but it's great to be here on behalf of the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center.
And that's cool because, every time you're here, I get this whole new picture of what happened during World War II.
Oh.
I'm one of those that was born. I'm not going to say forget that. I'm telling my age if I say that. But so many of my relatives were involved in World War II, and the perspective that they brought back. And some talk about it, some don't want to talk about it. Some didn't come back. So I had this Midwest whole picture of what the war was like. And of course, there was never any Japanese involvement.
Right.
From their side of things, because they weren't standing side by side with the Japanese.
Right.
Our Japanese, I should
Right.
say. Right.
And the stories and the history, we're located down on Kahului Beach Road. We have our entire campus down there that includes Maui Adult Daycare, the Ocean View Center, and Concha Preschool, and we're the education center downstairs. We have this very extensive archives of memorabilia and stories from our Maui men who fought in World War II. And you go in there and you just get lost in the history and lost in the stories. And every week someone will pop in and will share a story, whether it's, Tom Yamada, who is 103 right now, and was in charge of guarding General Tojo,
really?
after Tojo tried committing suicide and was unsuccessful. Tom, who was with the Military Intelligence Service and spoke Japanese and English, was in charge of watching over him to make sure that Tojo didn't try to commit suicide again. But to see the photographs is one thing, but to hear the stories from our veterans is something,
Chicken
something,
skin.
it really is. And every day it's somebody walks through that door and you're just lost in history, and it's beautiful, but the lessons and the horrible tragedies that these men and their families encountered ensure that we don't make these same mistakes again. And it's all about perpetuating their legacy, their values, and sharing it with the greater community and that next generation.
Right. Well, you talk about the archives. I mean, you're also asking people to bring in things.
Yes.
Memorabilia from that period.
Yes.
And I'll bet people walk in the door and you just are amazed at what they've got.
The other day we received a Purple Heart, a Silver Star, so yes, it's quite amazing. And right now we have the 100th Battalion exhibit, and that's actually going through August 26th. We're open Mondays through Saturdays, 12 to 4 p.m. And the 100th Battalion is such a Hawaii story because the 442nd came after, and those were a lot of our mainland men. But the 100th Battalion was formed right after 6 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. And it was comprised almost entirely of Nisei, second-generation Japanese, Nisei from Hawaii. And they were the first group of Japanese Americans to see combat in World War II. So the exhibit this is the 75th anniversary of the 100th Battalion, so the exhibit is dedicated to them. So we have the story of the 100th, of course, and we also have many of our Maui men's memorabilia on display as well, everything from Purple Hearts. They were called the Purple Heart Battalion. They're one Puka Puka Purple Heart Battalion because of all that they suffered during the war. But we invite people to come down and, again, just like sharing it with the greater community and the next generation, like the wonderful intern that we have sharing his summer with us and who is with me today, Casey Mercado from Kamehameha Schools.
Hi, Casey.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. So what? How does that internship work? Do they apply for it, or?
They do. So Kamehameha Schools has a wonderful summer internship program for juniors that are going into their senior year, and we've been really lucky to have two great interns this summer. John Williamson, who was instrumental in helping to put together this exhibit, and Casey, who is very interested in civil rights and also nonprofit
Hello.
directorship.
Even before he gets involved with a nonprofit, he's on the radio show. That's terrific. That's one step up. Casey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I go to Kamehameha Schools, obviously, and I started interning here not only because I was interested in nonprofits, but I was also interested in both marketing and
I guess marketing was a big part of it, and also civil rights. Casey comes to us with a big interest in civil rights, and we were talking that the story of the Nisei veterans, because they were distrusted by the government. Walter Sakamoto, who was a Legion of Honor winner here from Maui, he was working, he was a milkman, and at one point they weren't allowing him to do his job because he was Japanese American, and they thought that because of that he would, poison the milk. And so, we heard these stories locally, but also nationally, and so many of these men would have their parents in internment camps. One of the stories that we were highlighting down at the center in this exhibit that I think really took Casey by surprise was the story of Cat Island. And so the 100th Battalion, these are men who were already in the National Guard units, but when Pearl Harbor happened, the American government didn't know what to do with them, so they just kind of put them to the side. They were this orphan battalion. Then Midway happened, and so they were sent from Schofield Barracks over to the mainland because they didn't want anyone to mistake our AJAs, our Americans of Japanese ancestry, with the enemy. So one of the first places they were sent was this place in Mississippi called Cat Island. A Swiss doctor came to the American government and said, listen, I can train dogs to sniff out Japanese blood. So why don't you give me some people to test this on, and you can save people in the long run by having the dogs. So these guys from Maui and Oahu and all over Hawaii were sent to Cat Island. They weren't given a lot of protection. They had meat, tied around their necks, and they were literally used as bait for these dogs. And of course, the dogs, they found out in a few months, could not detect ethnic blood, and it was disbanded. And the guys came back and said, well, it was a good, we got a lot of fish and we ate well, and they tried to make the best of it. But these are the men then that were sent to the front lines in Italy. And they were in combat for 20 months from September 43 until Germany surrendered in May of 1945. And together, the battalion was awarded 3 presidential unit citations. 3,147 of those soldiers earned 4,340 individual medals, including 1,700 Purple Hearts and those are awarded to people who are wounded or killed in U.S. military service. Because of their dedication, their teamwork, making sure that they did everything that they could for their country, they paved the way for the 442nd, because the Army saw what they were doing, and so they said, bring me all of your Japanese. So that's when the 442nd was brought up. But
Right.
yeah, so it's that's what this exhibit is about. And between the 442nd and the 100th, they became the most decorated unit ever. Yeah, for their size.
So did they transitioned into the 442nd?
So it's a complicated story, but yes, the 442nd and the 100th they come together. But because so usually yes, they would have gone into that regimental combat team, and they would have lost their name as the 100th. But because of all that they did, they were able to keep their name and
Oh, cool.
be the 100th.
Wow.
So we have so many of those men, are from Maui, and we're very very proud of all that they have done for us.
So now these gentlemen are what, 90, 100 years old?
Yeah, in their late 90s and early hundreds. So we're so thrilled when we have time with them to hear their stories firsthand, and when they're able to come down to the center and share. We had a speaker series not too long ago with Harold Okamura. I think he's in 98, so he was with the Military Intelligence Service, and Masao Motooka, also with the Military Intelligence Service. They were very instrumental in flushing out the caves in Okinawa. So what would happen is the citizens would run into the caves, and if they weren't brought out, they would most likely be killed. So it was, they were instrumental in bringing them out of the caves because they were able to speak Japanese, able to create that bond, and they saved thousands of lives and ended the war at a much earlier. And they were, the MIS, the Military Intelligence Service, was instrumental in rebuilding Japan. So you have people like Tom Yamada, who started with the 100th and then moved into the Military Intelligence Service. So he served in both areas.
Wow. Such stories. I mean, we hope it never happens again.
Right.
And I guess hope is all we can have, because one never knows.
Yeah.
But it's the way they turned the public opinion around.
That's right.
With this valiant service.
Indeed. And then they came back to Maui, and they came back to Hawaii, and they built the community that we have today. They came back and they did the AJA baseball. They were the founders of Central Pacific Bank. They did a lot for our community. Hiroshi Arizumi and his brothers of Arizumi
built
brothers.
half of it.
That's right. And Mr. Arizumi was with the 442nd, and was part of the famed Lost Battalion. But next year is the 75th anniversary of the 442nd.
Wow.
So we'll be focusing on that. But we also have men who were awarded the Legion of Honor. That's the highest medal from the French government, and because they were very involved with freeing the Dachau concentration camps. So we have two men within the next few weeks. Dr. Ohata, Seiya Ohata, who just turned 100 years old, and until a few months ago, I think, was driving himself around. And
Wow.
Mr. Robert Sullivan, who will be receiving their Legion of Honor awards. So we have so much history and so much to be proud of here on Maui. And there are also a lot of Hapa soldiers. That's one thing that we're focusing on in this exhibit as well. We had Native Hawaiian Japanese, we had Chinese Japanese, and so it's really the story of Hawaii.
Right. Wow. And I love it because when they finally built the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center, the street that it's on, which is just off of the beach road.
Yes.
I mean, hello, go for broke place.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's so wonderful,
It's the motto the motto, and it's go for broke, give it your all. So we have this list of values that the men kept at their core, and it was dignity, gratitude, making sure not to bring shame on your family, teamwork, perseverance, responsibility, all things that we need to have in our daily lives anyway. And at the very end, The last value is go for broke. Just give it your all. Mr. Arizumi was talking about when they were looking to save the lost battalion. He said they'd been on the fields for so long. They were supposed to have a 2-day respite, but they heard about this battalion. So, even though they were very tired, they went right back out to get these guys, and they said, well, we just had to give it our all, go for broke. And we say that they're heroes, and when you talk to these men, they say it's just
it was the job.
It was the job. It's what they were doing, but they all say, like Harold Okamura said, war is just horrible. It's terrible, and everything that we can do not to go to war is important, and be nice to one another. Those were his
those are words to live by.
Words at the end of the
Wow.
speaker series. He said, just be nice to one another. And if we could do that, and even if we disagree with one another, or don't have the same opinions,
Yeah.
if we could just be nice to one
We
another.
could just agree to disagree,
Right.
and stop it there. And at this point, we're going to stop it here and take a short commercial break.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out what's happening in the world they serve. Talking today with Deidre Teagarden, who's executive director at the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. It always amazes me that this story, it's like it's always new, and yet it's 70 years old,
That's right.
75 years old. But there's so many pieces to it. There's so many men were involved, and their families. Many of them have carried on the tradition of the family business or whatever they came back and started. And it's just, to me, it's just awesome because I can't put any other group in that kind of a situation.
Well, you know what? They all served together. They went together as a group. And I think that's a big difference. They went together as a group. So when you're serving next to your neighbor or your brother or your best friend, that makes a difference. And I think when they came back, they kept that group. And a lot of them didn't talk about it. They wouldn't share it with their families. We hear that story quite often. But they came back and they wanted to do something. They wanted to give back to the community, and they fought for justice and being the same, lack of race, non-racism. And it was Judge Kitaoka from Hana. He had served, and his son Lloyd, who runs the 100th Battalion Club in Honolulu, did a video of him. And he said of all of the awards that they received over the years and all of the citations, the thing that meant the most to him was when Truman said to the men, not only did you fight on the battlefields far away, you fought racism here at home and you won. I think this group of men did so much for civil rights and the community that we have today and the freedoms that we have today, regardless of your ethnicity, are thanks to these men. But yes, it's such an old story, but yet it's a new story. It's very contemporary, and I think when people come down to the center and go through the exhibits or go through the archives, they see that there are definitely connections, and we're always finding out, someone will come through from California and they'll say, oh, but my dad was so and so and his cousin was such and such, and oh, there he is on the board, and it's very connected. So that's what we try to do, is share those stories, perpetuate that legacy, and be there for the entire community. So you don't have to be Japanese American. You don't have to be a World War II buff, right, Casey? You can be interested in civil rights. You can be interested in, whatever it is. There's something down at the center for you, because these stories transcend ethnicity, political ideals. There are things that we can all live by.
For sure, for sure. And just, again, looking at the values that they spoke about, being selfless for the greater good, leading by example, living in gratitude. At some point, they had to feel how could they be grateful for anything?
Exactly.
The way they had been treated before they went on the battlefield. Inspiring courage in adversity and doing the right thing always. Now that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Yeah. But, that's the answer, though. One of the things that always amazed me is these oral history pieces that you folks have over there. Having started collecting this in the 60s when you were using handheld tape recorders and videotaped VHS tapes.
Yes.
Hopefully that's all gone onto
it has.
disc now.
We partnered with USC to digitize all of that, because, yes, we still have a VHS pop up every now and then. I think Casey's seen them in the archives. What's this?
Oh, really? Huh? That bad, huh? But just think, if someone were to sit down, and I'm sure that many of these folks now have passed on, and it's the next generation or even the second or third generation at this point, take a look back, and that just has to have some effect on the family.
I think it does. Brian Moto, everybody knows Brian Moto, right, in our community. His father was Kaoru Moto. He was a Medal of Honor winner. He came back and gave so much back to the community. And or David Fukuda, whose father was Major Mitz Fukuda, the first Nisei to be a commanding officer. When you read their stories, you can you can't help but feel so emotional. And I had shared this on another radio program, but when I was up here, but it bears repeating. We had a woman from Kona. She was 98 years old. She came into the center with her family. We heard her last name, and we said, oh, I think we have a box of things from your family. Her brother had served in World War II. He had written, she was the little sister, she was the baby. Her brother had written all these letters to her while he was on the battlefields. She never received them, but we had them in this box donated by the family. So she was going through them, and she said, she read her name. She's like, that's my name. They'd never been opened. She opened them for the first time in our center. She's 98, the first time she'd ever seen these letters from her brother. So just so chicken skin, and to know that every box that we have down there at the center holds some similar memory. And what we try to do is display these memories when we have exhibits so that the community can see. But when we're able to kind of close a loop for a family member like that, it makes it all worthwhile. All of the things you go through as an executive director, trying to keep the lights on. That doesn't matter.
No, this is what matters.
This is
right
what
here.
matters.
But
so.
If she's 98 now, she would have been like 23, 22, 23.
I'm not. I don't know the details, but she was the baby of the family.
Okay.
I think maybe they had like 9 children or something. So she was a little girl when she was supposed to have received them.
Interesting. How about that?
Yeah.
And now the brother is gone.
The brother is gone, but
wow.
Yeah. And they were these cards that I guess the Army provided the men, and they're beautiful. They're bright colored cards, from the 1940s, and with the.
I'm not familiar with cards from the 40s.
No.
Are you?
Well, you would be if you came to the archives.
I see. Okay. Okay.
But I mean, they in and of themselves are little pieces of art. They're
Right.
just beautiful cards. So
See,
yeah.
incredible. And exhibits are always free.
Always free. Of course, we always accept donations, but they are free. We are, again, open Monday through Saturday, 12 to 4, Kahului. And if you're going to put it in your Google map, it's 665 Kahului Beach Road. We're still working with Google to get One Go for Broke Place in the Google map. But it's 665 Kahului Beach Road. We're that center right on the bottom. Sign up for our emails. You can go to nvmc.org and sign up, and we'll let you know when things are happening. Speaker series, cooking classes, obon, tea ceremony. We
You
do a
name
lot
it.
you name it, we
You-
can do it.
you can do it. There you go.
call us first.
Okay, so we're talking about right there where the fork takes a rod in the road.
Right, the fork
Hello.
takes the road before you get to Jack in the Box, and if you go to Lifestyle Maui, you've gone too
far. You got it. But don't throw the car in reverse, please.
No. Safely turn around.
Turn into their parking lot, turn around, come back, and you're right there. Well, wonderful. Deidre, always great to have you on.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure.
And Casey, good luck to you in your studies at, where'd you say you're going to Oregon? Someplace in
Yeah,
Oregon?
Someplace in Oregon. Willamette University.
Willamette.
Yeah.
Cool. Very good. So we will see you back here in 5 years, starting into the nonprofit world.
Thank you.
Yeah, huh? Okay, that's great. That's a date. If we're still doing the show, you'll be on.
Thank you.
Okay? Great. And enjoy your internship with the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. Deidre, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Folks, remember the One Puka Puka, the Purple Heart Battalion exhibit that's open through August 26th, Monday through Saturdays, 12 to 4 at the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center.
See you there.
Have a great week, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. Oh, we were going to say one thing. You guys also, part of your facility is used by the Concha Preschool.
Yes.
And our next guest happened to send one of their people over there for a job interview and got the job.
That's right. We are so fortunate, and we think that's such a great organization that you have there. The senior center is right next to the preschool, so there's interaction. I've never seen anything so smoothly run and so smartly, such a smart idea for just that they get to interact. And we got to have the opportunity to go to a tea one day, a women's tea, and all of the little girls at Concha Preschool went over to the senior center,
Oh.
and they sat and were served apple juice.
Yes.
but it was just a great opportunity for them to share the generational the age differences.
And we love everything that you do. We love Kalima, and you're there with us all the time.
Thank
so
you. We love you too, and thank you for allowing us to do your grounds as well.
you do
That's
a
right.
beautiful job.
There we go. That's 2 votes for you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Lokahi votes yes, and so does Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Okay. And we are talking without introduction here. We started
okay.
into the second half. We have Debbie Wonderscheid, who is the marketing director for Kalima o Maui. And I got to say, I mean, I know this is a few months late talking about it, but when you guys won the Outstanding Nonprofit of the Year at the Mayor's Awards back in, gosh, when was that, March?
It was.
Whoa, it seems like a long time ago.
It does.
It's such an honor.
It is. We were so flabbergasted and surprised. We had such tough competition, but we were so appreciative and so excited to be the recipients of that award.
You know, every year it's a tough one because, I mean, the nonprofits, I mean, how do you outdo each other?
Right.
Limited funds, limited resources, lots of people needing your work and your assistance. I just want to take from a comment here that Chantel Ratte, who is the executive director of Kalima, wrote in their newsletter shortly after they won. She said, "As I reflect on this award, it's clear to me that our staff deserve so much of the credit. They have the unique challenge of balancing the social service side with the business side of the organization on a daily basis. They do so with compassion, efficiency, and a touch of humor. I'm incredibly grateful for my coworkers that make coming to work fun while getting the job done. As Dwight Eisenhower said, a sense of humor is part of the art of leadership, of getting along with people, of getting things done. Here's to all our employees that truly make Kalima o Maui outstanding. And that's pretty much what she said when she accepted the award.
She did.
She didn't take the credit. She gave it to all of you who make things happen.
She did. Chantel is awesome that way. She does think of the employees and all of the clients and all of the customers. And yes, she doesn't accept a lot of the acknowledgement herself. I guess she always wants to share in it.
Right. Now,
wonderful.
Kalima's celebrating how many years?
We have been on Maui since 1955. We started out helping tuberculosis sufferers out in the sugarcane fields rehabilitate and find meaningful employment. And since then, we've gone on to help find employment and services for almost all disabilities, including mental illness, as long as it's doctor documented. And we have some great partners with Department of Vocational Rehab and then some private foundations that help us provide services. So we are growing. We actually, in the past 12 months, if it's okay if I shout out
Sure,
to some
go for it.
our awesome, just in the past 12 months, we've made some great partnerships with some of the companies out in the community with Rosalani Place and Fleetwood's on Front Street, Gate Gourmet, Lowe's, Home Depot, TJ Maxx, Makana Okaola Health and Wellness Center. And it's a clinic. It's a new nonprofit agency right here across the street over in the...
Yeah, it used to be the community clinic of Maui.
Yes, and they're awesome. It's got a great office administrator. We've partnered with Story of Hawaii Museum, Flatbread Pizza, Concha Preschool, thank you, Deidre, and Kama'aina Kids. And we're always looking for more community partners. We do have several people that are dedicated and ready to go and would make exceptional employees at any organization you might have, Central, South, Upcountry, or even Lahaina. So please give us a call at 244-5502. My name is Debbie, and we'd be happy to talk to you.
Now, one of the things that I think that has always kind of struck me about your clients that you're working with is their responsibleness. That they are so thrilled to have the opportunity to prove themselves to people that they can do something.
Right. Well, and that's something else I could add, that there are so many myths about the disabled population, and Department of Labor has statistics that shows that they're actually more reliable and statistically more reliable and more dependable in working conditions, that they actually longevity, they last longer at jobs. They typically, I have the information here somewhere, but they last almost 2 years versus a normal 1 year for somebody that without a disability. And they generously come to work with better attitudes, and they just make great additions. They help, with diversity. That's just great to have. So we do, and we do have clients that are looking for work, but we also are in need of our own crews and clients. We have been expanding our contracts in the grounds and janitorial. That's another thing that we have. We have about 12 contracts that go out a day, or 12 crews that go out a day with each a working supervisor and 1 to 4 crew members or clients that work on the crew. And we're going south to Kihei. We're staying central, up country, and we have approximately 65 employees or clients that work for us. But it's expanding. We've increased our numbers. We've increased our contracts. We've got Maui Floral, Maui Family Support Services, Hawaiian Island Humpback, Whale National Marine Sanctuary, Kahumanu Church, K. Abdul Realty, and then we've recently added on Westside Beaches, So we're actually in need of more persons with disabilities that would like to come on our janitorial and grounds crews, and we need supervisors.
We've got plenty to talk about. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to expand on that.
Okay.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out what's going on in their world. And the second half of the program today, we're talking with Debbie Wonderscheid, who's the marketing director for Kalima o Maui.
Thank you, Susie.
You know, it's amazing to me. I think about a couple years ago, maybe it's been more than that, I can't remember. But you brought someone on the show, one of your clients that was in training, and he was just learning groundskeeping. And this was his first real chance to show that he could do something and work hard and accomplish something. And now, before the show, you told me that this gentleman has progressed from that startup position to now he's a supervisor, taking a crew out every day, and he's living independently, and has really made a life for himself.
Correct.
And I just sit here and it's like I knew he had something going for him because he just had that extra spark, even when he spoke on the radio. And I thought, okay, he's going to go someplace. Now, that wouldn't have happened without Kalima o Maui.
Hard to say, but we are there for this. Probably not. We are there for the support when they need it. We're there, and we give them the chance to grow, I guess, and we give them the opportunities if they can show us that they're making progress, and know that we make it a comfortable atmosphere for them. Though it's not, they have to work, but it's we have the training, the job coaches that train.
But if they start to fail or fall apart in their training or out on the job, you're there to work with them, to help them through that. And there's got to be times when that's very important.
It is, and we also offer that out in the community as well, and that's why we've had so many successful placements out there, is we offer on-site support at all of the different community partners that we work with, be it a grocery store or a medical office, or we can go in and help with training, and once we've faded out and left them to be self-reliant on their own, if they do struggle, as you say, or they're learning a new task, they're going from filing to computer, we can come back on site and help train some more. So it really benefits the employers that were there at the beginning, and then we can come in with any problems that they may have later, so we can help rather than just the...
And all it takes is a simple phone call.
Exactly.
To call you and say, so-and-so is having a little bit of problem with this, or something's different about them, they're going through something and I can't find out what it is.
We have worked with that and we're helped work them through that. And we also, in addition to being more reliable, more dependable, we're there for on-site. We do any partnership that we would have in the community, there would be eligible for state and federal tax credits as well. So it's a great...
it's a win-win.
It is. I mean, they have job coaching, they have tax credits, they get a trained, by the time we fade out, they've got a trained employee that can shine, and will work for probably a longer amount of time and be more dependable and punctual and reliable than a
Right.
lot of other employees would be. So,
And they are thrilled with that opportunity.
oh, they are. Yes, they are.
I mean, when I can only imagine that most of these clients, when they come to you, they have a dream. They've seen other people progress and change their lives and live more independently and so on, and they want to know how'd they do it.
Right,
Can I do it?
right.
And yeah, you're probably going to have some who can't because their disability is so great, but there's still probably something there for them.
There is. We can even offer, or we can find, one-step jobs if that's what they need or want. A lot of times it is, just like everybody, motivation or learning the task, but we can help the train to modify it, any community partner, or we can modify it ourselves if they're working on our crews. But yes, we just we're lucky enough to get an employee from Kmart, and she just comes in bursting with energy every day. She's so thrilled to be with us because a lot of them feel more like we're almost a family setting, I guess, because we do have a Hui club and they plan to go on outings as a group. In fact, they're planning on Disneyland next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a very safe place or
Yeah.
comfortable place for them, though they do work.
They do work. They do, and that's above all. The fun and games are there, but
Right.
above all, they are being
Right.
trained to work.
That's our mission statement.
Yeah.
Providing self-reliance. So
Now, if somebody's on one of your crews, like your groundskeeping crew, is there potential for them to go from that to working on an independent company's ground crew?
yes, we have actually lost some of our employees that way. They typically will come on to start part-time, and then once they've gone through a functional assessment and been trained, and then they can work up and progress to more hours, end up full-time. And if that's the case, then they do end up with benefits, holidays, vacation. It's really pretty nice. But then a lot of times we are just a stepping stone, and they will go out. I know of a few in particular that have gone on to other grounds companies after they've been with us, and they've been very successful afterwards. So that's partly our goal, I guess, with a lot of them, is we know we are a stepping stone to help teach and train them, and then they
Right.
go off somewhere else.
Wow. And I think the thing that just astounds me, and I keep looking at this, and I know I've talked about it before on the radio show here, that this is not a county grant-based operation.
No, and we're not funded by, or we're not part of United Way either. We have a different and very interesting funding situation. I shouldn't say interesting, but not the way a lot of times a nonprofit is. We are funded partially, I believe about 60-70% by our grounds and janitorial crews. They do bring in, because of the contracts we have with the private sector, and then a lot of the county and state offices and different buildings. But then we do have fundraising or we get funding from fundraising and donations, a separate entity. And then we do get some from the state as well.
Purchase contracts,
Yes.
bid for state funds allocated to specific vocational rehab
Right,
and Medicare waiver programs.
right. We do have an adult Medicaid waiver program.
Okay. Let's spend just a couple of minutes on that
Okay.
Medicaid waiver program, because that intrigues me. How does one get into that? How does one know if they would qualify for that?
They usually have to be qualified through DOH, Department of Health, or DD, and if they have, most of it is intellectual disabilities of some kind that have been measured and reported by the state, and then they get provided so many hours. And then if they do get the hours, once they go through the qualifications, then they can come to our program. And we do have a full day program, Monday through Friday. Some have Saturday as well. And it's all based on it's called an ISP, or their individual service plan, which is similar to the IEP in the school system. And so that way they're all individually created based on what the client or consumer needs. Some it might be social skills, and then they're going out into the community and they're sitting in our waiver building and with the other clients doing things. And some are we never see them. It's a one-on-one type of program they have, and we see them rarely. They're always out doing other things. So it's very self-determined, and it's a great program and a lot of growth there. And we've seen a lot of people, and independent living skills we offer through that, as well as employment. We do have some that work over there.
Interesting. Now, I'm trying to remember, too, the last time you were on the show, you were in the midst of a building project, renovation.
Yes, we still are.
Okay, you're still in it. Okay.
We've completed the Medicaid waiver remodel or refurbishment, and it's beautiful, and new paint and new windows and new roofing, and it's completed. So now we're going to work on the second phase, and that's going to be to build a base yard in our administrative building right next to where the waiver building is. So it's
a base yard.
That's where all of our big trucks, we have our crews go out in trucks and vans every day, and so it's going to be an 11 or 10 bay base yard equipment shed. So
Wow.
right now we have our stuff out in our area and it's padlocked off, but we still have trouble with things disappearing. And
Interesting. This sounds like this could go on forever.
I don't think so. We're moving ahead.
Okay. Well, now, wasn't there a kitchen or something part of one of these? Part of the
We had
renovation?
a beautiful, yes, in the waiver building. We had
Okay.
a beautiful new kitchen, and we had a blessing and an open house, and it was beautiful.
Gotcha.
It is beautiful.
Now, what's
I
the
shouldn't say
object of the
was.
kitchen?
It was just because our waiver program they learn cooking,
Oh, okay.
and they do baking, and so it's just to provide.
Part of the programs.
It is.
Wow. Is there anything you guys don't do?
Well, windows.
Windows. Oh, gee.
No, I'm kidding. We do windows. I've even done them before.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, now we were talking earlier about you've got a couple of you've got a couple of clients, or 3 clients, I guess, that are looking for specific clients. You've got business clients who are looking for people with specific training.
I actually have 3 consumers that are looking for employment.
Oh,
so they're
hello. Oh, I see.
okay.
That's what they're looking to do.
right.
So you're looking for businesses who need
I'm
this kind of
looking
work.
for business partnerships. That's right.
Whoa! I can't keep clients and partners
That's okay.
straightened out. Okay, so they've been trained for this specific kinds of work,
Right.
and they're looking for a job.
I have one woman who loves to drive. She would drive and be in her car all day long if possible. So I'm looking for a delivery courier type position for her part-time, and she's available any hour of the day or night. So that is one of our clients that I know she would love to drive. She's very enthusiastic, very positive, always punctual.
She has a vehicle.
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Her own vehicle, which makes it ideal. Driver's
Cool.
license, driving a lot of years, clean abstract. She would be great. Another one that's looking for minimal hours, lives up country, but could be in Paia, Central, Haiku, 4 to 10 hours a week, shredding, scanning, filing, great personality, very hard worker. She's done some greeting and busing. Could work in a medical office or real estate office doing shredding or scanning or filing or faxing. And then I have another one who would be great as a cashier or a teller. He's got a very professional attitude, demeanor, has gone through our job skills class, just the same as the girl that's looking for the scanning and filing position. And if anybody is looking for any of those hours or that type of person to fill a puka in your employment, just give us a call, or you can reach out to me by text. My name is Debbie. Personal cell phone is 281-5717. You can call me, you can text me, or you can email me, Debbie, DEBBIE, at kalimaomaui.org. That's KALIMAOMAUI.org. Or call us on the main line. Our main office number is 244-5502.
Now you are looking for people as well.
We are. We have the 2 ground supervisor, or 2 supervisor positions we currently have open. We just had an office meeting yesterday, and one of them is a fill-in working supervisor. So they could be going all over from Central to South Maui to Upcountry, and it would be a combination of grounds and janitorial. It's basically to fill in when people go on vacation or call in sick. And then we have a weekend and holiday supervisor that we're looking for as well. And that is for custodial services. And it would be working, so they'd both be working as well as monitoring and supervising between 1 to 4 clients or consumers.
So small crew.
Small crew. And you get to drive one of our company trucks.
Whoa.
Or vans.
There we go. And
we have great benefits.
And all the equipment, everything
and
ready
all
to
the
go.
equipment.
All the equipment. Wow. You guys really, I think I say this every time you're on, but it bears repeating. You're just a fantastic organization.
Well, thank you.
And certainly deserving of the Mayor's Award this year.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We think we're good too. Or I do.
Maybe that's, that you've got something there. If your employees don't think you're good as a business or as an organization, how can you be the best?
That's right.
And that's did I coin that, or did I hear that someplace?
I like
That's
it.
a Susie original.
It does make, yes, you should trademark it.
It's not necessarily that was kind of rough, but I could polish it up.
Work on it.
Yeah.
Work on it before I see you next time.
There you go. It's exactly what we got to do. I just, I think that there are so many great people out there who just want an opportunity to show what they can do.
I agree.
And that's what you're giving them is a chance to do that.
To shine.
Yeah, because not everybody is in that mode.
That's true. But we do have a lot that want to work.
And giving them that opportunity is everything.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's the end of the show again, Gary. Whoa, way past my closing.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Thank you so
Debbie,
much.
for being here. This has been great. We always have a good time
We
when
do.
you're on.
It's always a pleasure.
And again, congratulations to Chantel and
Thank
to everyone
you.
over there for
you.
their
She might be listening.
fabulous work. Oh, hi, Chantel.
Thank you, Chantel.
Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And if you see something there that you're interested, give them a call or check out their website and see what you can do to help them. Today we visited with Deidre Teagarden, who's executive director of the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. Give her a call at 244-6862 or Deidre at nvmc.org. We also visited with Debbie Wonderscheid of Kalima, Maui. Give her a call at 244-5502. Or what's your website?
It's www.kalimaomaui.org.
Very good. And give them a call and get some more information on their programs. We want to thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week right here, same time, same place, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 other member agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks again for joining us today. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.